This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio, and it is, May 13th? So we are getting close to being in the middle of the year, but we're getting close to summer, and there's a whole lot of books out there that should be on your must-read list. We are talking to an author today that you should absolutely add her entire catalog to your reading list if you haven't already, but I will give you a few books that you should probably check out. There's a book called Wherever You Are, Be a Good One, and it's a really sweet book of quotes and beautifully illustrated. You have Emmanuel Acho just released his book, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Boy, but he also had Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man that he released last October, and it really helps open up dialogue about systemic racism and discussions. And, you know, the thing is, if you don't know you have a problem or you don't know you have biases, even if you think they're generally harmless, it's probably a good idea just to talk very practically with someone else about things. And he really helps open good dialogue there, productive dialogue. We also have Priscilla Oliveras. Her book Anchored Hearts is out, and she was here last week. Zio Axelrod has the book The Girl with the Stars in Her Eyes. Both of those are second chance romances and super good. And then we also have Denny Bryce, who was Wild Woman in the Blues, which is a fictional, historical. It's a modern day. It tells both back in 1925, the jazz age in Chicago, and then also present day. And it goes back and forth, and it's amazing. So please do pick it up, and I think you will very much like it. But the person who's going to be here, who is here today, is Carly Bloom. And she's been here before, but it's been a bit, so I'm super excited to have her. Carly Bloom began her writing career as a family humor columnist and blogger, and a pursuit she abandoned when her children grew old enough to literally die from embarrassment. And to save their delicate lives, Carly turned to penning steamy contemporary romances, because nothing quite says not embarrassing your children than their mother writing saucy romance novels. These are the kinds of books with bare chests on the cover, and Carly and her husband raised their mortified brood of offspring on a cattle ranch in South Texas. But her books have really caught the attention of a lot of people, including Entertainment Weekly, who stated, Carly's invented a place we want to hang our hat and kick up our spurs anytime she's got a story to tell. You can find her latest book, Must Love Cowboys, that's out now. And to connect with Carly, check her out at her website, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Goodreads, and BookBub. Welcome to the show, Miss Carly. How are you today?
I am doing great, thank you. I've been looking forward to talking to you.
I know, it's been too long.
It has, and you know how it, now during the pandemic, it's like, wow, socialization, yay.
Woohoo! Yeah, they just released this afternoon that if you've been fully vaccinated, you are cleared to go without masks. And
I know.
Yeah, but I'm still going to get. I was telling a friend of mine. I know I'm going to get a pen or a hat or something that says fully vaccinated, because I just want people to know that they're safe if I happen to sneeze.
Right.
It's weird.
I have mixed feelings about it, right? Because it's a little anxiety provoking now to go out into a crowd of people, and just going out into a crowd of people, period. But now to do it without a mask. Just yesterday, I went shopping with my daughter, and we went to DSW and Michael's, and we went and got some boba tea, and that was like a lot of like outdoor kind of activity. I mean, outdoor like outside, but like out in public activity for me for one day, and so now I was doing all that, with my mask, being all proud of myself for just being out and about, and I had no clue that, like, today they were like, oh, you don't even have to wear a mask. So I have mixed feelings, because I don't like wearing a mask. I admit it. It makes my glasses foggy. It's uncomfortable. But I really understand the necessity, and I feel like that is why we're not a whole lot worse off, than we are, because people have been wearing masks. So, but yeah,
right, and I hope there's things that stay, like the extra cleaning. I mean, I know it's a lot for people in service industry, Target, grocery stores, and I know it's a lot. But those extra things certainly kept people coming into the stores, and I think it would be great if it continued, because I don't really think people appreciate how gross everything is all the time.
Right.
All the time.
Yeah.
So I've got very mindful of not touching things when I go in the store, because usually I'd be like, oh, let me slide my hand down the shelf and touch this, and I was literally like sidestepping with my hands at my side, like grabbing my pants, because the instinct is to reach up and move it, and I was literally like trying to crane my neck around that jar is the one I want in the back, and because I wanted strawberry instead of peach jelly or something. So, but yeah, because people sneeze and they cough and they touch stuff and then they don't think about it, and then 10 minutes later they're in the grocery store and they touch this can. Oh wait, I don't want that one. Let me put that one back. It's like all this stuff that people just don't realize. It's gross.
And I've just really enjoyed not being sick for the past year.
Yeah.
Like, nobody in my household got sick, and so there's parts of this that I hope to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it's been so traumatic for so many people, and so many people have had loss of family and friends, and it's just been a surreal experience. And I kind of feel like here, today we learned we can go out without masks, and then I'm listening to the news about India and just heartbroken, and it's crazy. It's too much almost to soak in.
Sometimes I do have to walk away from. It's not that I disengage in the sense of, okay, well, I can't handle this anymore, I'm done. It's okay, I just need to walk away from the news and the Twitter feed for just like a half a day or a few hours, because I'm soaking in so much of the sadness. Right.
And if there's no action that you yourself can personally take to do anything about it at that moment, then it's just wasted energy and worrying about something, But what you can do when you step away is you can read a romance novel with a happy ever after at the end.
You can. You can escape for a little while. It's like with a cowboy with no shirt on. That's like on your front cover.
And thank God for that, right?
No,
I'm doing the Lord's work. That's what I'm doing.
Well, tell me. So is this the third or the fourth book of this series?
Well, it's the third full-length book, but there's also a novella.
Okay.
So technically, it's the fourth story in the Once Upon a Time in Texas series. Okay.
So tell me about the book.
Like I said, it's the third story, and it takes place in a fictional hill country town in Texas. And in this story, Must Love Cowboys, the main character, Alice Martin, she's the librarian for the town, and she's I love having a librarian, by the way, for my main character. And she's been in all the other books, and dang it was really her time to have her story told. Anyway, she's happily self-partnered, like Emma Watson, and she's not looking for a man. She's very happy. There's nothing in her background. I purposely didn't give her anything in her background to where she has issues that have led her to be single. She just is fine being single because, you know what, that's a normal, natural state to be. But anyway, so she does need a date for an upcoming wedding, and she doesn't have a clue as who she can ask. And the other main character is Bo Montgomery, and he's a ranch foreman, and he needs a little bit of tutoring for his unaddressed dyslexia. He shares that job with his twin brother, Bryce, who has always kind of helped him hide the difficulties that he has from the unaddressed dyslexia. And Bryce is leaving. He's leaving the ranch, and Bo's going to be on his own. So he turns to Alice for tutoring. He agrees to be her date for the upcoming wedding, and that gets the gossip mill turning,
Oh, of course.
and they're a small town, so it's a fake romance, which is one of my favorite tropes. And and as an added bonus, Alice used to be Beau's babysitter. So she's a little bit older than him. It's not a huge age gap. It's not an age gap romance. But she babysat him. She's 4 years older than him. So when she was in high school, she babysat him and his brother. Their parents had a hard time finding babysitters, but Alice never had anything to do on a Saturday night. So I feel like I kind of invented the cowboy falls for his babysitter trope, and
sure.
I'm happy to have fulfilled that mission for everybody. You're welcome. So
thank you.
That's what the story's about, and I realize I rambled. I never do well with that question, even though I always know it's coming.
Well, I mean, this sounds adorable, but I mean, tell me why you made him dyslexic.
Well, I'm always looking for a way to make my characters vulnerable in a way that they can grow, and in a way that they can specifically grow because of the other person. And I wasn't sure, I don't plot out my books. I just kind of play around until a story forms. And so I really wasn't sure what his issue was going to be. I knew that his brother was going to be leaving the ranch and that he was going to be on his own. And as an identical twin, I thought that was kind of, enough of a little bit of a conflict for him, something to give him that he'd have to deal with. But when I was writing the scene, and I had him be a little upset because they were in a restaurant around a lot of people when he was told this, when his brother just dropped this on him, that he was going to be leaving. And I had him reach for the check, and in that moment, he had a hard time reading the check. Like, he revealed that to me. Like, I wasn't really planning on that. And I was like, oh, I bet he has dyslexia. And I'm sure that formed because I have a son with dyslexia. My oldest son has dyslexia and auditory processing disorder. So I'm really familiar with how that affects people's self-esteem and their ability to communicate effectively. So anyway, so he revealed that to me, but I'm sure that's why, every story we tell is a result of our life experiences. So, but anyway, it worked out to be a great fit for a librarian.
Sure.
And my character is trained in adult literacy programs. So it was perfect. She's what he needs, and he's what she needs.
And that, I mean, it's not in a way, it seems like it'd be a really simple match, but like you're saying, someone who has dyslexia, especially when they get to be adults and they've sat there and they're like, they've compensated in other ways. Like they're super hard workers, they're great at math, but they're not great at reading, or they're great at reading, but they're not great at numbers. And they find their compensation, but to reveal that to someone else as an adult, that's that's really trusting to let somebody else know what's going on.
Yeah, and it's a secret that only he and his twin brother know. But to in our culture, to not be able to read as an adult is a big deal, and it makes life really difficult. And even as a child, I know from when my son was in school, like if you can't read by a certain age, it's almost like, well, then you just can't learn, right? Because now we're going to learn. Now we've crossed this imaginary line where now we learn these things not by doing anymore, but by reading. And if you can't do that, then you're just stunted. And of course that's not true, because you can learn in all kinds of ways, and my son did. And I'm happy to say he's 26 now, and he is an avid reader and, of course, brilliant person. His mom,
of course, and you're completely correct.
In school, when he was expected to be able to read and he couldn't, it's almost like everything else fell apart then. So I try to imagine what that must be like for adults who have been able to hide it and still have that sense of, wow, everybody else seems to be able to do this. I should be able to do this. We put so much emphasis on this. And I know in our family we're all really big readers, and I'm a writer, so we also put a lot of emphasis on being able to read, and then to have this child who couldn't learn that way really forced us to be creative so that he could keep growing and keep learning, and which he did, and he's an excellent communicator because of it.
Well, and my daughter Caitlin, growing up, and the best way I could explain it is it was like talking to Yoda, because she would have all the correct words. They would just be jumbled in the sentence, and you knew what she was saying. But it's like you'd say okay, and then she'd say, "It's too loud, turn it up. I'm hot, I need a coat." It's like that, and we'd say, well, and we'd explain it, and she'd look at us and she'd nod like, yes, that's what I said. So then we'd turn it up, like turn the volume up. It's like, turn it up or turn it down. And she's like, oh, no, turn it down. And so we went through that for pre-K, and we kept saying, I kind of think something's off here. And we had her tested multiple times at the school district. You go through that whole song and dance like I know you did. And you start saying something is off. This is a kid who can recite an entire movie after watching it one time. So I know she's got some. She's working. It's working. It's just it's not working here. So if she had to read, let's say, the script to Harry Potter or the script to Aladdin or whatever, she couldn't read it, but she could recite the whole thing because she heard it. So it took her till 6th grade to get an official diagnosis, with me basically jumping up and down and screaming and saying, you got to test her. It's exhausting. And I can see why parents are like, I don't know what to do, because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So.
It is. So, but Joel, my son is, he's training to be a nurse now, but he did go to film school for a short time, and he had to write an entire screenplay. And I remember just looking at that stack of papers and just thinking, wow, I wish I had been able to foresee when he was struggling so much as a little kid that someday he was going to be able to write an entire, screenplay.
Yeah.
A good one, too.
Well,
but anyway,
I'm thrilled. So, now she's doing great in English. Of all classes, is her best class now. And it's just like, wow,
amazing.
It's like one of those things. It's like, huh. So, but you're right, because as adults, it's like, well, why bother? What's the point now? And so, how does she get him through that? Does he approach her and say, this is my issue, or does he know he's got dyslexia?
Oh, he knows. He was diagnosed,
okay.
And he and his brother kind of covered it. He was trying, he was going through various programs, and his parents were taking him to get tutoring in Austin and when he was little, and they found out that he couldn't do rodeo club because he was having to go to tutoring, and neither could his brother because they couldn't afford it. So the two of them devised a plan where his brother would just cover for him. They were identical twins. They weren't usually in the same classes, so they would sit in for each other, and his brother did his homework, and his brother even took some of his tests. And then they worked on the ranch because their father was the ranch foreman, and then they took over his job when their dad retired. And so he's just been fully dependent on his brother helping him out. And then when his brother can't do it anymore, he realized he had to do something to keep the job that he loves. His job is his whole life. So he approaches Alice, and she happens to need a favor also, so they cut their bargain. They cut their deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that you said he told me about his character, what his issue would be. And, nobody but writers would understand that, because everybody else would be like, so this imaginary person told you, do we need to call someone? I've had this conversation with other people. It's like, no.
And I'm like, I'm a really extreme pantser, you as a writer know that term. I write by the seat of my pants. I don't plot. And so I don't know what they're going to do until they do it. And actually that whole scene changed so much. He doesn't even find out at that point that his brother's leaving. That ends up coming up later. So nothing about that scene stayed the same, except that I show him not being able to read the bill. But, you talk about these imaginary people talking to you. I think that that's what's so magical about when a reader finally gets to read what you've written, release day when the book comes out and people start reading. For me, especially with this series where it's the same small town, a Big Verde, where all my characters live, and this is like the fourth and final book, it just felt like I could feel people coming back to my town as they were reading. And it's like all these invisible people, like I see ghosts or something that only I can talk to and interact with. And finally, on this one magical day, all these other people are there looking at, seeing, talking to my imaginary people, going in and out of the shops and the stores and the houses. And it's just pure magic. Like I enjoy, it's enough for me almost just to be with them by myself. But when you get to let other people in, like that's the difference, I guess, between writing just for yourself and really writing for like that shared experience.
Oh yeah,
it's magical.
So what is your town like? If you had to pick a group or a town in Texas, what is the blueprint of it?
When I think about what it physically looks like, it looks kind of like Wimberley, Texas. The Blanco River goes right through Wimberley, and it's just gorgeous, and it's a small town, and it's also a little bit of a tourist town, and that's how Big Verde is too. It's a tourist town because of the river, and it's got wineries and swimming holes. But when the tourists are gone, it's just like the same group of locals that, they're all related to each other by marriage one way or the other.
Right.
In every book, there's always a book club scene. So I've got my active book club, and they read romance books. And there's usually like a wedding scene or a party scene, and then they're always at Tony's honky tonk. But this book has a wedding, obviously, because Alice is looking for a date. And at the rehearsal dinner, the guys are talking about how they're related. Why are you at the rehearsal dinner? Are you related to the bride or the groom? And they go into how they're related. Their aunts on their mom's side is cousins with the sister of the blah, blah, blah. And then they talk about, what kind of relation is it? Is it like a full set of china relation, or is it like a hand towel relation?
Right.
I grew up in a small town, so I know, and I still live in that small town, so I know how that goes. And I think it's fun to show that side of small town life to people who maybe haven't actually lived it. Right. And writing these characters just gives you a chance to like make the town itself kind of a character in the story, and that's how I think of my town. It's like its own separate. It's like a character.
Right. I mean, and people are going, "Oh, I know where that is." I mean, it's interesting because I've used a couple of small towns and kind of combined them, but it's fun when I've driven through or get to walk around again. It's like, oh, and that would be where so and so works, and that would be where It's like, in my town, I'm going to take that and just plop it right there. Yeah, and it's just really cool because you can, like you're saying, you can envision and then you can share that, and it is fun creating that own little universe that you get to share with your readers.
And the people in my imaginary town were kind of similar to the people in the town I grew up in, but then the location is in the hill country. So I took, my human element, and plopped it in a really prettier setting. And whenever I'm working on the books, I like to go stay in Wimberley. We rent a little house on the river and go on into town, and I do that. I'm like, oh, that restaurant is like the corner cafe, and kind of immerse myself in it. And Wimberley is just a pretty little hill country town. Love it.
Well, it's grown a lot. I mean, I was born in Austin in the 60s, late 60s. And then we had friends who lived way back in there when it was all, just the artist community and Hippieville or whatever you want to call it. And then, we kept moving back and forth, and you'd see it grow every time. So, you had Dripping Springs, which was like, you had to know how to get to Dripping Springs to get there. And now it's like major place for people to have weddings, and it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to UT, University of Texas or Texas State. That whole area is just exploded, and yet it still keeps a lot of that charm, that quietness of it all.
Yeah, thank goodness. I hope it always does.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people live there and drive into Austin for work now, because you can, because you have like really good roads to do so, whereas before it was all back roads.
Yeah, you can get there easier. Not where we live, people. I don't live in the city, but people here drive into San Antonio to work. So
right.
So
from
our ranch, I can be to downtown San Antonio in 20 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice. I'm definitely out in the country, be in town really quick.
Well, I was laughing. So my nephew is going. Looks like he did get in to a college on the East Coast, and so my brother, his uncle, we were talking. He's like, "Oh yeah, he's not going to be that far from me, only like 6 hours." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's not bad." And I was laughing because I said, that shows that we're from Texas. Because if you had told someone on the East Coast, "Oh yeah, it's only 6 hours. It's not that far," and they're like, 6 hours.
Yeah, like
I can't even get out of Texas in 6 hours.
Houston's not far. Yeah. I know, and we think nothing of driving like to Houston, because my daughter's a dancer, and if she has an audition in Houston, like we drive to Houston, she does the audition, and like we drive home. And people in other states are like, "Did you get a hotel?" I'm like, "No."
No.
Got
Why?
up early in the morning, drove to Houston, and then we drove back.
Oh, wow. So you've got this series wrapped up. What's next on your to-be-written pile?
Well, this is the last book in the series. So right now I'm just kind of playing around with some rom-com ideas. And hopefully I'll have a book coming out in 2022. That's my goal anyway. So I don't think I'm going to write another Cowboys series. Like, that's just not where the stories that are popping up for me right now aren't Cowboy series. So I'm not really sure what's next, but I'm looking forward to playing around with it and finding out.
Right. I mean, I think, the characters you come up with and the way you write them, I have no doubt whatever you write will be fantastic and fun. And you've got such a fun sense of humor. I could totally see you creating something really amazing. Would you ever write like a screenplay or anything like that?
Oh, I would love to do that. And sometimes I'm sad that I didn't start out trying to do that when I was a lot younger, because I really think that I'd like to work with kind of a largish cast of characters when I write my stories, and I think I would have loved to work on something like that. One of my readers, actually two readers recently, have said that my book reminds them of a cowboy version of Schitt's Creek. I'm like, see, I would have loved to have worked on like a little show like that as a writer.
Yeah.
So fun. And also, I'm like a collaborator, like I'm an extrovert, and I think working like on a show, writing with other writers would just be so fun versus the lonely, task of writing a book by yourself.
Yeah.
During a global pandemic, especially.
Right. I mean, I've watched different shows, and you just sit there and go, I would have loved to have been in the writer's room to plot out the year, so like the whole season, like, okay, this is the arc we're going with, and then these are all the points we're going to hit, you know, and all this crazy stuff. It's would just be fascinating to sit down and write this kind of stuff.
They just seem like weird kind of people, and I think those are my kind of people. Like a minute ago when you were saying, oh, you're just so funny, and I'm like, yeah, except for when I'm not. Like, I'm like awkwardly funny at times. Like people aren't always laughing with me. And the sad thing is I don't really even care which it is as long as I get a laugh. But I'm real hit or miss with the jokes, right? Like sometimes people just give you that look and you realize, oh, wow, that's really only funny to some very small subset of weird people. And I feel like if I was in a writer's room on like a comedy show, like those would finally be my people. That would, that would.
Well, I mean, Schitt's Creek was brilliant. Me. Well, I mean, Schitt's Creek was brilliant. And then I've also started, I mean, I'm way behind the curve here because I had little kids when everything started coming out. So I finished all of Schitt's Creek, and then I started watching Grace and Frankie. Finally.
Oh, I love that show so much. Oh, my God. Yeah.
the situations they put those two women in, it's like, who decided this?
They are so funny. They're so funny. And, you know, both of those shows, the characters are really over the top.
Yeah.
And you can't pull that off real easily. Like, sometimes it's just too much, and it's too much slapstick, and it's too unbelievable, and they're too big. And both of those shows could have gone that way and still pulled it off brilliantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their characters are over the top, and you still believe that they're real.
Well, and I think we've all met at least one. I mean, I was telling my mom, I said, okay, now when you watch this movie, just watch Schitt's Creek, you've met every single person in this town. You've met them. And she was like, oh, okay, this is a little worrisome. I said, well, you know, they're the good ones. But, I mean, it's just, you've met all these people. We're probably related to a lot of these people. And that's what's kind of fun about it, because anybody can watch that and go, oh, yeah, I know that person. Oh, yeah, that's my uncle, and that's my aunt, and that's my cousin, and that's my, you know. Oh, yeah, I gave them dish towels. I gave them china.
Their personality traits are kind of, their personalities are really kind of expanded, though. Like, they're like, you know, steroids. Like, they're so over the top. And like with Schitt's Creek characters, I actually took me a while to get into it, because they're not really, really very likable people, and they're super, super shallow. And and they kind of stay that way through the whole thing. But what's so great about Dan Levy's writing is at some point you start rooting for them, and you can't really point out exactly where it happened. Yeah. But you become totally invested in their happiness and success, even though they pretty much keep their same. They have an arc, they have some growth, but they still keep their same character. And I think it's just brilliant. I think he's brilliant. He's an adorable human being, but he's a really brilliant writer, and I've been so happy to see him get the recognition he deserves for pulling off that show. It's so great.
I think,
and
too,
I've been
that,
watching so much TV, like, I'm embarrassed by, like, I never watched TV. I was always a little smug about it, too, you know, like, people be talking about shows, and I was that obnoxious person saying, well, I just don't have time for that. I don't watch TV. You know, I have 5 kids, but I tell you what, 2020 was my year to hunker down and watch TV, and I did a lot of it. Yeah. And I have a newfound respect.
Yeah. It's been great. I hadn't watched a lot either. I mean, I would, you know, watch movies or whatever, and of course we're a Marvel, you know, MCU family, so we were just like sucking up all that. But I mean, I started sitting down going, you know, I love superheroes, but I really need to just laugh a lot right now. And I had friends talk about, you know, Frankie and Grace and Schitt's Creek and some others like Arrested Development. I hadn't watched it, and
I love Arrested Development.
and watching it, it was like, oh, this is so nice just to be able to escape in these absurdly ridiculous people. And yeah, they're over the top. And working in nursing, and I know you've met them too, but it's like we all know these people exist. We may not necessarily know them personally, but they're similar to people we do know, similar enough. And I think that's what pulled me in, some of it. But yeah, some of it was just like, you've got to be kidding me, you know. But yeah, because you can only watch so many animated shows. Like I can't. I mean, I love Pixar, but
David and Patrick are such a great pairing of opposites attract. So such a great pairing. Loved it. But,
I actually started using a little bit of Lexus as the alarm if my kids wouldn't get up in the morning. So I had it on my phone. And so I would just stand downstairs and turn it on really loud. And you know, by about the second chorus, you could hear them go, la, 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 la. And they're like, turn it off, la, 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 la.
Yeah.
Like, all right, everyone's awake.
You're that mom.
I am.
I'm not sure my kids would laugh over that. Well, they're just not good. They're not good at waking up, but neither am I, so it's okay. That's okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
I hate being woken up. And my husband said, and I never remember saying it, but apparently, like when I wake up every morning, I just have like such a potty mouth. Like I just an expletive just comes out. That's the first thing that comes out upon opening my eyes. And that was even before 2020. Like that was just me in a good year. So, yeah.
Nice. Well, I remember reading an article years ago about George Burns, and they said the first thing he did every morning was wake up and like scream a good F-bomb, and then that's how he.
Well, I have something in common with George Burns.
I know.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Because that is exactly what I do. That's exactly what I do, according to my husband. He's like, it's just so sweet the way you say that every morning before you've even opened your eyes. It's like I just open my eyes, consciousness descends, and it just pisses me off or something. I don't know. And then I'm fine with them up. But, yeah.
So what is on your to-be-read pile, or what book have you read recently that you would recommend?
I just finished, and it's an early copy, so I feel super special. But I just finished Alexis Hall's latest book, Rosalind Parker Takes the Cake.
Oh,
so
I saw that.
Yeah.
She wrote that beautiful Christmas book they made into a Hallmark movie. Well, she had the book out, obviously, and then they made it into a movie with Ryan Peavy. What was it? The Christmas, like the travel in time thing?
Who did that?
Alexis Hall, didn't she?
Well, Alexis Hall is a man. So
that's not it.
You're thinking of a different Alexis. Alexis Hall, he wrote boyfriend material.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And now he's got a second rom-com, which is like a baking show themed, called Rosalind Parker Takes the Cake. And
that cover's gorgeous.
Yes, and it's so gorgeous that I even Instagram staged a picture. That's what I did, Patricia, and I'm not really good at that. But I have these big, bright red clown glasses that I wear that I love, and the cover of that book is red. So I put my red glasses on. I even put like a little red kerchief thing on my hair, and I staged a picture with that book cover because it's so cute.
I love it.
That was my
so.
I'm sure I
that's your
sold
big
millions
splurge?
of copies for Alexis with that picture.
Yeah.
Thank me.
Oh, I love it. Well, I mean, I love seeing so much representations coming out, and I know it's long overdue. But I truly love seeing so many voices of writers.
Yeah, you're right. It's so long overdue. And I know with my kids, what they read, their reads are so much more diverse than like what I was reading at their age, and like that's naturally what they gravitate to. That's what they like. And what was the other? There was another really popular rom-com. Oh, Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yes.
That my kids loved, and that's really what got my daughter into reading rom-coms was that book. And it was really cute, too. But I loved Boyfriend Material. But I read Alexis before he wrote Boyfriend Material. He had some other books out that are just, he's just freaking funny. And he's British, so that just automatically makes funnier and more clever and more adorable in every way. So anyway, I just finished it yesterday, and I don't even know what I'm going to read next. I have a really huge pile of unread books, both paperback and on my Kindle. And I'm heading out on a little vacation next week, so I'm going to see how many of them I can get read in 3 days.
I love it.
Yeah.
Just kind of step away and escape into your alternate universe, since you've now given everyone else an alternative universe. So
when you're
to step
writing,
into,
at least when I'm writing hardcore, I don't read as much as I'd like to. And of course, most of writers I know, the reason we write is because we love to read. So it's kind of weird that then when we're writing so heavily, we don't get to do what we love as much. So when I'm between books, that's really a time for me to get back into what caused me to write in the first place, which was reading.
Absolutely. So when do you think you'll start working on your next project? You're going to give yourself a couple months, or do you have some ideas that you're jotting down?
Well, yeah, I've already. I started working on them. If what my early stages, if anybody could actually call what I do work, I don't know. But yeah, I'm never not percolating ideas. Like,
right.
I never fully have both feet in the real world, so I'm kind of always daydreaming and writing and imagining, and eventually it will turn into something. So, but I really, I've had some proposals put together, so I have been working, but I don't know when anything. I'm between contracts. I don't have a contract right now, so I don't know when. Once I get a contract, then I'll have a deadline, and then I'll be hardcore working. What feels more like work anyway, as to what I'm doing now. So.
Well, I appreciate you so much. Will you come back and talk to us again when you've got your next project out, or if you just want to swing by and say hello? I
would love to. And you're one of the few brave souls that actually has interviewed me twice.
Well, considering we probably message each other.
I have no idea. But, so I will gladly see you anytime.
Oh, I love it. Well, I would love for you to come back, so please keep me posted.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. If everyone's been listening, this is Patricia W. Fisher, and I've been talking to Carly Bloom. Her latest book, Must Love Cowboys, is out now. If you want to connect with Carly, you can find her at her website, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Goodreads, and BookBub. And she recommends this amazing book by Alexis Hall. And, of course, I had it just now, and I will say it just here. Here we go. That's a fabulous roundup and ending to my show today. Rosalind Palmer takes the cake. So after you read Carly's book, you can read Alexis Hall and his book, So this has been Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio. And also, everybody, it was just National Nurses Week. Please, if you know someone in the medical field, please tell them thank you. Send them a text or call them or, whatever, because they've been working their butts off in this past year, more so than normal. So a lot going on. And everybody, please stay safe and keep on reading.
This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions. www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.